All right, hey everybody. This is Dre Campbell and Taylor Tibbetts with the TVCRE Podcast, and we are in Orlando, Florida today, shooting episode number 16.
Yep, 1-6.
Yeah. And who do we have here today, Taylor?
So we got Tooba Patoli. So Tooba's known as CRE Girl on Twitter, or I guess it's now called X, formerly known as Twitter. And we're here at the CREI Summit. Commercial real estate influencers. And Tooba, thanks for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here. Actually, Taylor and I started this podcast after coming to the CREI Summit 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
We came and we learned about the value of podcasting, and we were like, what's stopping us? Like, why are we not doing something like that?
Right.
And so we made the step to step out and to do something like this. And
that's amazing.
And we think that there's awesome generative content that happens here. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you live and what you're doing, and yeah.
So my name's Tooba, obviously. I'm from Houston, Texas, born and raised. Just started real estate about like a year and a half ago. I've always kind of done real estate ever since I was in college. I started off by doing residential. I was just applying to a lot of internships, just trying to get something going, and I happened to get the residential real estate internship. So I was just helping someone, do all those TREC forms, all of that. We call it TREC. I just realized I'm from Texas.
Yeah. Texas Real Estate Commission forms. Yeah, Idaho we call them IREC.
Yeah, I just realized not everybody calls it TREC, but anyways, those forms, and then graduated college, got my license, and I mean now I'm here, but so graduated college. How did we get here? So I worked corporate for a year, and I just realized that life wasn't for me. I wasn't okay with the fact that there's like a cap on how much I can make, especially because I know I was putting in work day in, day out. I was going to work early. I was leaving the office late, working like 13-hour days. And I was just like, I'm working these 13-hour days, but why am I still getting paid the same amount? Right? Yep. And at the end of the day, there's really no job security. I had so many friends, we all just graduated college. So like people are getting laid off and people are getting fired and they're like scared. What's the next opportunity? And I was just like, I need to do something.
Yeah, control.
I need to have control.
Yep.
And especially if I know I can work so hard, why don't I do what I love? Which has kind of always been real estate.
Yeah, betting on yourself.
Kind of betting on myself, yeah, because I mean, doing real estate isn't easy. First few months, I mean, you're like making nothing. You're working 13 to 15 to 18 hours a day, literally making nothing, hundreds of phone calls a day. You're exhausted.
Yeah. Well, and for some agents, it's not just the first few months, right? It's the first few years before you start making money.
First few years, really, but like the first few months are really the toughest just because nobody even knows who you are, especially someone that just graduated out of college. It's just like, who are you? You look like you're a kid. Why would I want you, right?
And you're not getting the guaranteed paycheck,
right? Correct.
That you've been getting for a long time. So the anxiety and the stress of that.
Correct. And you can be okay with that and you can reassure yourself, but sometimes the anxiety and stress do come from that. You're just like, I'm not getting paid anything and I'm working hours and hours. Is it really worth it? So really, I knew the brokerage I wanted to go for. I walked into their office one day and I was like, hey, I'd like an interview if someone's available. Lucky for me, somebody was available, literally.
That's amazing.
On the spot. Lucky for me, somebody was available. They said they liked my energy. I had sales experience in the past and they were all like, yeah, come work for us. Let's do a 90-day trial period and see how things work. And then we can kind of take it from there.
So which agency was that, Tooba?
It's called Huntington Properties. We're a local brokerage based off of Houston, Texas. We're all across Texas now. We're in Dallas, Austin, and Houston.
And what is your specialty?
My specialty is retail leasing. I have done a few investment sales just because, so our approach is kind of lease to sell. Just because, I mean, obviously, everybody can lease a property with LoopNet leads coming in, phone calls coming in, but not everybody can go find their own prospects.
Right.
And if I'm gonna go find prospects and I'm gonna spend hours and hours on the phone, then it's like I need that guarantee that I'm gonna be able to sell your property too. Because when I first started, there was a situation where I leased up a whole property and another broker got to sell it. And of course, it's like I did all the heavy lifting.
Right. Made it a great deal.
Yeah. Right. I did all the heavy lifting, and then they just got to do the 5 minutes of cardio right after the heavy lifting. And I'm just like, So
and a lot of times a lease is the same amount of work as a sale, or more work with some leasing for sure. And
so how do you position yourself to make sure that you do get the sale?
So I wouldn't say that leasing is more work than sales. I would say my approach is more work than sales, or our approach that we've been taught at our brokerage, because we have been taught to go look for the client, go make the connections. That's a lot harder than, I mean, a sale, I'm not saying it's not hard. It is, I'm sure it's very hard, and I know it's hard, but it's a whole nother thing when you're literally just like saying, hey, I'm Tooba, I'm a broker, and I already look, people are like, you look like you're 16 years old. Why? Right. Yeah. Or are you even real? And I have to sit there and prove myself. So that's not easy. That's not easy calling everybody every day. Like, you look at my phone log, hundreds of calls per day, and it's just like, how did I get the sign released? By making like 400 calls. Yeah. You know, it's not just 20 calls.
Right.
Well, that's an incredible skill set that not many people have.
No.
So the fact that you have the perseverance to stick through with cold calling and to learn the word no and to push through that at times and keep going, that's an incredible skill that you're going to harness. So you've also used your online sphere to kind of help generate knowledge of your business. How has that worked for you?
So online, it's worked great. I mean, you know, I've always been on LinkedIn, and then I just recently joined Twitter about 6 months ago. It's gone great for my career.
Yeah, kind of fairly meteoric, really, in the retweet space at least, right?
In the retweet space, it's been amazing.
Wait, let's talk what retweet is, because
that's true.
Our viewers might not know what retweet is.
Yeah, let's talk.
Hashtag RETWIT.
Yeah, so how would you describe
hashtag
what
on
is
Twitter?
that?
Yeah, hashtag on Twitter, and it's kind of a community of people, really. And a lot of the folks that are here at the CREI Summit are, I would say, part of retweet, right?
So there's multiple members on Twitter. Anybody can use that hashtag.
You just use the tag in your tweet.
And when you're talking about something real estate related, you can use that hashtag, and it compiles those tweets, and so people can see it if they're following that hashtag.
Right.
So just so our viewers know and understand. So they also call it the retweet community. So these are people who are in the Twitter community or X community, whatever you want to call it, and they're following real estate, correct? Right. Okay. And so you've had a rise within the real estate community on Twitter.
So, and maybe I've been curious about this, so I'll just ask, but it seemed like right around the time when you were able to connect with Real Estate Trent, that there was kind of a big uptick in your following. Would you say that that's correct, or what are some things that have kind of helped you grow your Twitter following in such a short amount of time?
I think what's helped me personally, well, first of all, you know, let's start off with the fact that I just got on Twitter, and then I got, it's a long story.
Yeah.
So I had,
let's hear it.
Yeah,
cool.
okay. So I was a lurker for a long time on Twitter. A friend of mine actually sent me Strip Mall Guy's tweet. And I thought it was really interesting because I was like, strip mall guy? I mean, I do strip malls. Yeah. So what does that mean, right? So I clicked on his profile. I went through all of his tweets, and this is back like a year and a half ago. I'm like, wow, like all of this is so important. I have never learned any of this, even though I've been taught so much, but stuff that he was saying, I was specifically never taught any of that.
Like really practical advice for someone in retail leasing.
Right, exactly, because he had gone through it himself, right? Mm-hmm. So I clicked on his profile, and I was like, that's amazing. So I was, as a lot of people, I was just a lurker for a long time, because, you know, a lot of people are like just lurking on Twitter. I'm like, okay, cool. One day, Strip Mall Guy posts a tweet saying, you know, I'll talk to 4 people on the phone, whatever. And lucky me, I had a friend reach out to him and like talk about how good I was doing, how I'm the only female on my team, and it's hard, but you know, I'm still killing it, or trying to kill it. And he was like, okay, let's get on the phone. 2-3 weeks go by, and it's finally the day of our phone call, and I'm like, cool. I'm like all ready to just ask him all the right questions. Like, you know, I know you on Twitter, you posted that you started doing this when you were, I think, 22 years old. Like, I just wanted advice, especially for someone that has gotten to where he is in his career. I wanted to know what he would do differently and all that. And then I just thought to ask. I was like, you know, I'm not gonna lose anything from this. Two weeks prior, he had posted something.
The meetup.
Yeah, saying that he's having a meetup, right? And I never even thought to really ask, because I'm just a lurker, like, from my personal account. I was just like, that's weird. But on the phone, I was like, you know, like, I'm in real estate. The worst that's going to happen is I'm going to be told no. I get told no every day. Yep. So I literally straight up asked. I was like, hey, like, I'd love to come to this meetup. I know it's industry vets, and I know that it's like all of these people that are already big on Twitter. And I know I'm not, and I don't even really have a Twitter like that. I'd love to come. And he was like, it's in New York. Like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'll make it work if I can come.
Love it.
I literally like, and I keep in mind at this moment, like I'm not really like making much money because I had just started my careers, but I was like, you know what? I just know it's gonna be worth it. Long story short, fly out there, meet all these amazing people. And like that was just kind of a game changer. And that's when I started my Twitter. I'm like, these people are so genuine, because a lot of people don't want to give you advice because nobody wants
to kind of share the golden nugget.
Nobody wants to see nobody wants to share the golden nugget. Nobody wants to, well, not nobody, but some people don't
in your market especially, they don't want to see you succeed.
Especially in your own market, they don't want to see you succeed because they want to do better. I've never lived by that. I love helping people out. And it's just like struck me as, I was, wow, like all these people are helping me out. Like for example, Beth Azor, like, you know, she's big.
Nice.
Yeah, she's so
awesome.
nice. She's awesome. Literally while we're at Strip Mall Guys event, for 15 minutes, she sits down with me, doesn't even know who I am because I'm not CRE girl yet. So has no idea who I am. I'm literally just a 23-year-old.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just a 23-year-old. She takes that time, sits down with me, tells me, you know, like tells
her
me
canvassing strategy.
Tells me her canvassing strategies and helps me on what I can do. And I'm just like, these retweet people are very genuine and they're willing to help. I don't know why I'm not in it. That's when I decided to go on retweet. And a lot of people think I'm anonymous. I'm not. Obviously, you guys know who I am. Yeah. I just thought CRE Girl was fun. There's not many women in the industry,
right?
Especially not in like my market. And on top of that, there's not many people sharing, you know, breaking into brokerage in real time. There's a lot of...
You've got a lot of vets, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You have so many vets. But I mean, I still don't really think that there's many people that are literally giving you a day-to-day, like what I give on, hey, today this happened and I lost a landlord, or today I gained a landlord and it took me 8 months to gain him.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because I've had so many like other lurkers that are just now getting started that are like, you know, thank you for posting all of this because it's motivating. I see all these industry vets talk about things and it kind of dismotivates me because they're already up here and we're all down here, which is okay. You know, we'll get up there.
It takes time. You're still young. Yeah.
It takes time. But it sometimes, you know, for those like people that are just getting started, it can be discouraging almost, you know, to like, to only look at industry vets. So that's kind of my goal. That's kind of how I got started, and I'm so glad I did. I would never look back on it.
And I feel like in the commercial real estate sphere, there's not a lot of authenticity when it comes to losses, and maybe that's social media in general.
Yeah.
Because it's always like just closed, just sold, just listed, just landed
Look
this.
Look at me.
Look at my vacation that I went on because I sold this.
Right.
Like it's a lot of that kind of experience. And Taylor's gotten really good at sharing like storytelling on LinkedIn, which has been really good to watch. And
that's great. Fun.
But seeing people with authenticity share about the losses, I think that we crave vulnerability as a culture, and we want to see someone to help us to grow. And I think that's the path forward, and I think it sounds like you've had success in doing that.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's the biggest goal. I mean, like on LinkedIn, you just go down, just sold, just leased. You go on Traded Texas or Traded Idaho, Traded New York, and it's like all you see is all these people doing this and that, which is great. Go everyone. I love that. But also it's like share all the times that you went through it.
Right.
Because newer people in the industry like me need to see that, to know that it gets better. It's not always going to be up here and it's not always going to be down here.
Right.
Keep trying.
That's right. Yep, I love that.
Tooba, I work with Lee & Associates, and I have people call me, right, and ask about brokerage regularly, and I don't think I've ever had a young lady call our brokerage and ask for a position. So what kind of barrier to entry have you experienced to try to getting into commercial real estate? I'm just curious as to if you've seen any barriers, if they exist, if there's social stigma, if there's professional stigma, if there's,
I mean, they most definitely exist. I like have a whole tweet about this, which I'm like so like prideful on. I just think, you know, being a woman in this industry is a lot harder than being a man. And obviously you can only say that because like I've only been doing this for 1 year and 6 months, and it is a lot harder just because like a lot of times, like, I mean, I guess I'll kind of talk about my tweet that I posted. Yeah. A lot of times like it's like, you know, you want to talk to fellow colleagues or whatever, but it's like they're all guys, and it's so hard to like go and connect with somebody. In real estate, to know something, you have to connect with somebody.
Right.
But it's so hard to connect with somebody if all the guys are going to do is talk about sports, talk about girls. So it's like they already have that within connection. How do I get in, right?
Yeah.
How do I get in? And it's like the doors are kind of closed almost. If you don't talk about girls, if you don't talk about sports, if you don't talk about, I don't know, like I guess all guy stuff.
Generally male interests.
Male interests, it's like the doors are kind of closed. And then you as a woman go in and you try to talk to them. You're just, it's a lot harder, and a lot of guys are like, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's been a lot of times that there's been a lot of times where I've seen like, you know, X, Y, and Z found out something because they were talking and stuff, and I didn't find out about that just because when I had tried to talk to someone, you know,
open up in the same way.
It's a lot harder just to get in. I mean, I don't see many females in the industry, but everybody that I do, like, props to them. It's difficult being put into it's hard to be put into like difficult situations where, like, you know, like maybe even landlords or future landlords, your clients, like, will ask you out to dinner and you're just like, that's not appropriate. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, I don't mind going to dinner with a client.
Yeah, if there's a business purpose behind it.
If there's a business purpose behind it, but it's like, you can't ask me to dinner, right? Like, if there's no business purpose behind it. And then when I say no because that's unprofessional, then you kind of don't want to work with me anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's disappointing.
It's disappointing that it is like that.
Have you found some ways to kind of break through some of these barriers, or some strategies that you might share with some of our listeners that are struggling?
Personally, you just have to go for it.
Yeah.
Like probably after joining the retweet community, I've realized that I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I literally just don't care. I will go up to you guys. I don't care that there's closed doors. I will literally snatch the door open.
Be yourself. Be authentic.
Be authentic. Yeah. I'm gonna be there. I don't really care anymore. I used to be like very like, you know, but I just don't care anymore because it is what it is. It's business at the end of the day. You don't want to let me in. That's okay. I'll let myself in.
Yeah.
You don't want to let me in your house. I'll open the door for myself.
Yeah.
So honestly, all I can say is don't stop caring.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Quite literally, who cares? Because if that's what's going to get you to be successful, go for it.
Something else that I've recognized in our local community in Idaho is most of the females in brokerage end up doing retail for some reason. And I don't know if you've noticed that trend as well.
I have not actually noticed that trend.
I was wondering if it's a regional thing or a national.
I think it might just be a Boise thing. There's a couple of powerhouse retail teams that are predominantly women.
Yeah.
And they've done great. Really, really good in Boise.
What personality traits do you have that you think help you be effective in retail?
I definitely, let me tell you what I've heard from clients. Energy, that a lot of landlords that I've talked to have ended up going for me because just on initial conversation, they're all like, I love your energy. Mm-hmm. I know if you have energy like that talking to me, you'll have the energy to talk. And when I say energy, I don't mean like energy levels, but it's just like the way I guess I talk or present myself.
Yeah, you're a good communicator.
Right, yep. They appreciate that.
You have a positive energy to you, I would say. Like,
right.
It's probably hard to get on camera and maybe over the
but yeah,
over the
you
recording.
Engage, you read social cues. Yeah, you kind of mirror what you're seeing from the person you're talking to.
Right, exactly. So that's kind of the feedback I've heard. Also, a lot of times when I'm trying to get a landlord or a client, I'm very good at follow-up. Follow-up is so important to me.
I know you've tweeted about that. Yeah.
So important to me, and I've gotten so many clients through like probably following up 10 plus times. A lot of times, I just actually got a landlord a few weeks ago that I've been following up since January.
Yeah.
What month?
And just checking in every month or every week, or what's been your strategy?
Kind of every month, because I don't like to bother people if I have nothing to give them.
Right.
I don't just like to be like, hey, Taylor, just following up. Okay.
Yeah, just checking in.
Like, okay, so what?
Right.
Like,
yeah, you want to bring them an opportunity, a relationship. Yeah.
I have this tenant, it's in the market. I'm wondering if you have space available.
Correct.
Here's a recent lease that was done.
Right. Like, for example, this one specific landlord, you know, she had a retail space up in an area that's just now developing in Houston. And I actually have a few tenants that I would love to put there, you know, because I don't have a space in that area. I have quite a few shopping centers, but I don't have one in that area. And I know that's the new up and coming area of Houston. I did end up finding out by, you know, attending events that they are developing. We have this, it's only in Texas. It's called HEB.
Okay.
Not sure if you guys have heard of them, but they're really big in Texas.
Cool.
So like when HEB goes somewhere, Target likes going there, Whataburger, Chick-fil-A, basically everybody goes right next to HEB. So I figured out through attending events that an HEB will be getting developed there. So I let the landlord know, and then I'm out there, and then, you know, some tenants have found out. So I just called the landlord, hey, I have X, Y, and Z. Let me lease your center. Let me lease your center because I'm not even leasing it yet. And I already have 3 different people on cue. And, you know, she just wasn't ready. I kept following up, new information. Right. Hey, H-E-B's coming. Hey, Whataburger just bought that pad site. Hey, Dutch Bros Coffee just did this.
Right.
All by her property. She's just like, first of all, love your follow-up. Second of all, how do you know all this? And I'm just like,
that's what I do. That's my job.
It's my job to know all this.
Activity breeds activity.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's my job to know all this. And just quite a few weeks ago, she ended up giving us the listing because she was all like, you know, like if you can follow up this many times with me, like I can only imagine what you're going to do. Like
those tenants.
To get tenants. So that kind of showed me that like, because sometimes you do get scared. Am I being too annoying? Yeah. You know, I mean, who doesn't get scared? Sometimes I'm just like, am I just being too annoying? Am I being too pushy? But you have to realize at the end of the day, everybody notices and everybody does appreciate it.
Yeah. Fortune's in the follow-up.
That's something that you've got too, Dre, that you do well.
Yeah.
Just.
But I understand the same way. Like, I think I go to the point where I feel like I've annoyed them, and then I'm like,
yeah, sometimes.
Is that too far? But they usually tend to appreciate the calls, but it might be an internal blockade that I come to myself because I'm like, man, the last 2 didn't get answered. Should I call this 3rd time? Or
right.
4th time? Or should I leave another voicemail?
Right. For me, it's like 1 out of 10 have been like, okay, I'm over this. You're being annoying. Mm-hmm. They haven't said those exact words.
You can read between the lines.
But 10% out of like 90% have said that. So like, I mean, that's a good enough ratio. 9 out of 10
is still great.
So
free throw line, batting average. I mean, gosh, yeah.
So be annoying.
So we're at the CREI conference, Commercial Real Estate Influencers, and now you're doing deals, you're having success, and you're gaining a audience. And now you will have the chance to influence.
Yes.
So have you thought about what you want your influence to be?
Personally, my whole account for me is just to help other people. That's what I love. It's not really to make money or it's not really for business purposes. It's more so, I've had so many people reach out to me, younger people that are just now entering like brokerage, or just like, you know, what do you think I should do? Do you mind getting on a phone call with me? What did you do that you would do differently? And almost every time I'm like, obviously, like, why would I not? I would love to. So I think my influence, I just want to help people. There's a lot of things, like right now, I'm training a new associate at my brokerage. Right. He just joined last week. He's doing amazing. And I'm literally telling him, I'm like, I want everything that I did wrong. I'm telling you, especially since I just started like a year and 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's still fresh. You're like,
it's still fresh. I'm going to tell you every single thing I did wrong so you could do it right. And that's my biggest goal. I mean, like for the past 5 days from Monday, for the past last week, I literally spent 5 hours a day on phone calls with him and other tenants, teaching him how to call. And of course, that 5 hours comes from my work day too. That means I have to put in 5 extra hours at the end of the day, which is fine because now this, like literally just yesterday, I was listening to him make phone calls himself and he's killing it.
That's good stuff.
And for me, it took me a lot more than a week and a half, let me tell you that. And it's been so fast. And I'm like, dude, how are you doing so great? And he's just like, I mean, like you told me everything not to do and everything to do. And honestly, like how a mother gets happy when your kids, like, I don't know, eat or something. It just made me so happy, like, that I'm teaching you. And I know a lot of people feel that way. And that's why I like to, like, share all, like, my successes as well as my failures. Like, hey, today I lost a tenant rep client. Like, I don't know what I did, but I lost them. Because a lot of times that will happen. Yeah. And how do you not lose a tenant rep client? You have them sign an exclusive listing, but I didn't do that.
Yep.
Right?
That's cool. So, this early in your career, you're already seeing opportunities to be able to share that with others.
Right. So my influence is really just to help all the newer people in the industry. Obviously, I can't help industry vets, but
I mean, maybe you're not giving yourself enough credit there. I mean, I'm not in brokerage. I work for a title and escrow company, but something that I think you do well with social media is you're introducing yourself as well as showing anybody who's maybe trying to improve or grow their social media presence ways that they can do that. So maybe from like the exact examples that you're sharing, industry vets would be like, oh yeah, I learned that years ago. But like having the courage to talk about it and having the smarts to bring it into your marketing scheme, I think teaches industry vets too.
Yeah. I guess you could say that's a good way to put it. And
like you show up at CREI, right? And you already have met a lot of people here through social media. Yeah. You know, I follow your account. I followed you for probably a year now. And so like, yeah, we met for the first time in person today, but I already kind of feel like I know who you are, which helps a ton from a relationship.
Most definitely. Like I completely feel at home. I went to the lobby. I'm like, I already know all of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you know Bob, right? And Bob's like the biggest name in New York on brokerage.
Like even when I walked into this podcast room, like I wasn't shy. I just started talking because I don't know. I just know you guys all because of Twitter. So it's just like, makes you feel comfortable. It makes you like okay to ask questions. There's so many people. I mean, I know I was one of those people too scared to ask questions, you know, because you know you just got in. You don't want to look dumb to the industry vets.
Right.
So it's nice to have somebody that you could just ask. I love when people DM me asking questions. Like, please ask. I won't think you're dumb because I had the same questions, but I wasn't able to ask those questions. So
it is nice to have a non-threatening community where you know people can trust. You can trust the people and have the communication, and they'll give you authentic feedback.
Right, and sometimes it is scary to like, you know, reach out to an industry vet that's been doing this for 20, 30 years. Like, hey, because they're just kind of, you know, that's scary. But it's
or if you're in the middle of a deal and you have a hard question, you don't want to ask the tenant, you don't want to ask the landlord, and you can go to a trusted advisor, and you don't want to ask someone in your brokerage. You don't want to look like you don't know the answer.
Right.
A variety of reasons.
Right, so that's why Twitter is so important, and I wish I had that, but since like I didn't, well, I did have that, but it's just I was too scared to ask the questions. I didn't ever want to come off as dumb, so I'm glad that people are asking me. That makes me happy. That's what I want my influence to be, to help people.
What are your career goals moving forward? Like, what do you want to do within the commercial real estate sphere?
So currently, as I said, I do retail leasing and sales. You know, there's so many wonderful opportunities in commercial real estate, you know, like raising money and then starting a fund and, you know, becoming GP, LP. I honestly think everything is great. Being newer in the industry, I kind of have so many it's like when your freshman year of college.
Yeah, the world's your oyster.
Yeah,
like,
the world's kind of your oyster. Your freshman year, you don't know where you're going. But by sophomore or junior year, you're more so like, okay, I'm going to do finance. I'm going to be a doctor. So personally, I don't have a good answer to that question just because everything I've seen so far, I love it. But there's not one thing that I've like, you know, I'm like, I'm going to settle down on this. I would love to know every possible thing I can know before I have that. But a career goal, I can give you a 6-month career goal.
Sure.
Obviously, pick up a lot more landlords, even though I have been picking up landlords, you know, lease out my properties, sell my properties, possibly do an investment sales on my own or learn to do it on my own because I can't do it on my own just yet. Those are my 6-month goals, but long term, you know, there's so many things that you could do in real estate. So for example, Beth Azor, you know, she does leasing as well as she owns shopping centers. And then she also like, you know, teaches young individuals. So there's so many different, the beauty of it is that there's so many different things that you can do. You don't have to pick one. And I like that.
Oh, that's cool.
That's good. Well, that's great. I mean, you have excellent energy. I feel like you have the right mentality to succeed. I feel like you have the right gusto. I don't know how to quantify it, like charisma. There's like a certain resiliency you have to be able to go through to hear the word no and push through and keep it up. And then you've also combined that with the use of technology to build a following. And then you're also adding value to the community and to your landlords. So I'm Team Tooba, man.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be doing great.
Thank you so much.
So it's exciting, and we thank you for coming on our podcast. And we all now have to go to a networking dinner. At the
we've made you late. Thanks for making time. Yeah, we'll see everybody.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. And so if folks want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
DM me on Twitter. DM me on Twitter or LinkedIn.
And it's CRE Girl.
CRE
the
Girl.
L is number one.
The L is the number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then LinkedIn's your name, and we'll post the links in the show notes too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Yep. Thank you.